Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV. Today we are in our second, our new studio space in Mesa, Arizona with Danny Perkinson.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming in. Perk Prop, round two.
Prop,
We got round two. One of the homies.
One of the homies, dude. One of the OGs to got you into the real estate biz.
Well, yes.
Right?
Yeah, you got me out of corporate America.
There you go.
You got me out of corporate America. You convinced me.
Out of corporate America. Pretty sure you'd still be slinging it at the bank, dude. Crushing it for Wells Fargo.
You try to smoosh me out of basketball.
They don't like me. Wells Fargo doesn't like me. But glad to be here, man.
Yeah, I'm much happier outside of corporate America. But
yeah, glad to break in this room.
Here man, first show in this room. So we're excited for this room, and thanks for joining me on Real Estate Pro. So, Topics for today. Well, I guess there's a lot going on in the real estate industry currently. Not necessarily industry, but in the market in general, right? We have the virus going on. What are you seeing out there this time in 2020?
Man, yeah, there's obviously a lot of uncertainty as to really what's going on with, the Phoenix market in general, but and on a nationwide level, what's going to happen. You hear a lot of stuff on the news about recession, that we're in a recession, and obviously that puts everyone on kind of high anxiety notice. But as it relates to the Phoenix market in general, the real estate market is still pretty strong. I mean, if you look at just the supply and demand figures, there's still fewer homes coming to market than there is people moving to the valley. So obviously that could change over the next few months, but as it stands right now today, the economics still look pretty sound. So, obviously what I'm telling a lot of my sellers is, you don't know what the future holds, so now is a good time to sell. But even on the buyer front as well, there's people are going to be, there's an article I just read this last week put out by Michael Orr. He writes the Cromford Report. A lot of the big home builders, pretty much every home builder in the valley points to his data, and his, in a nutshell, at the very end, the last line of his summary report basically said, hey, you're gonna have a lot of buyers that are sitting around on the fence waiting for the prices to come down, and they'll most likely be disappointed. So, and that's largely due to the fact that there's just inventory levels are low. Builders, unlike the last go around, builders were building a lot of houses and selling them to a lot of people that couldn't qualify for loans. So, I mean, there were individuals that had multiple properties that were just getting qualified on no doc loans. You don't have that this go around. The fundamentals are sound, and the builders can't build enough homes right now because there's not enough labor available, and so they're not able to put out as many houses as they'd like anyways. And you got a lot of Californians and people from back east that flock to the valley. So fortunately for us Arizonans, we live in a place where a lot of people are going to continue to move. So that bodes well for us in the real estate industry. So but yeah, I mean, again, a lot of uncertainty, and no one really has a crystal ball by any means, but we're just doing our thing. Our business has been relatively good. We have an investor client that we have been working with that has kind of put the brakes on right now on purchases until they kind of get a better feel for what's going on in the market. But outside of that, traditional resale, commercial is kind of all just marching along at the moment. No big changes, so that's good.
So let's talk a little bit about your business, because you have done a lot of different things. Obviously, most things that you have been doing are real estate related. So talk to us a little bit about Perkinson Properties and what does Danny have going on right now in 2020?
Cool, that's a great question because a lot of my audience doesn't really know because I've always been bouncing all over the place. But I about a year and a half ago kind of refocused on and rebranded to a certain extent. Perk Prop, kind of shortened it. Perk Prop 2.0. It's it was basically 10 years since I've been in the business. It's taken me over the last 5 to kind of figure out, who I am and what I want to be focusing on. I've got a lot of experience in the commercial space, obviously in the residential space. I've sold around 1,500 homes over the last 5 years. large portion of those have been to investor clients. But going forward in 2020, I've come to the realization that commercial will always be a part of what I do on the brokerage side of things. I've got a number of different commercial clients that I work with and represent. But one area that I'm really going to be focusing on in 2020 is building out the traditional resale platform. It's funny because I've been, over the last 5 years, running from that business. I put very little time, effort, and energy into it. There's things I don't particularly love about it, but at the same time, I've come to appreciate and, to a certain extent, love those things that I haven't really enjoyed in the past. And I'm really going to focus a lot of time, effort, and energy, and basically build I wouldn't even say, I'm a broker, I have a brokerage, but it's really more of a mega team that services our clients and creates raving fans and creates an experience that people will continue to come back to. And largely going to be focusing on who I am as an individual, which is I don't know how to do anything not 100%, and I don't know how to do anything fake. So I'm going to try and just be as real as I can be with my clients and let them know the facts and be workable. That's some of the things that, who I am at the core is naturally what brings people to me, and I'm a pretty easygoing guy and willing to work with anyone in whatever scenario and add value by just being real with them and not filling them full of smoke and mirrors, but just shooting it straight to my clients, and that naturally, will bring business, and really focus on, again, adding value by creating a top-notch experience. The home selling experience is stressful enough as it is, and so creating a streamlined process that takes out as many variables as possible and controls the emotional roller coasters that there are in the home selling process is what we're focused on.
So if somebody hires you in 2020 to sell or buy a home, what does that experience look like? What are the dynamics of Perkinson Properties as a brokerage and you and your team?
Yeah. So what we're trying to do to kind of set us apart from the rest is I have a core group of agents I work with, and then an office admin assistant who's been with me for the last 5 years, and each one of us kind of take a different role. We've got listing specialist, a buyer specialist, and we like to be as organized as possible in that process, and I like to be as available as I possibly can for every single one of my clients. Obviously, being available, being able to pick up the phone and calm someone's nerves when they have it is, I think, high importance to every customer out there. But then on the actual sales side of things, being relevant and present and through all the social media avenues that you possibly can, and above and beyond just social media, I'm a firm believer in face-to-face, turning up stones by focusing in on an area or a sub-market, which my main areas of focus are going to be Northeast Mesa around my office, and then Gilbert, kind of North Gilbert where I live, and becoming the expert in that area. And I've sold a large number of properties off market just from networking with the right people, being out in front of their face, both on the social media front, but also on just whether it be door to door, whether it be out in my neighborhood walking my dog, or on a bike ride with my kids, or there's something unique about someone that can turn up stones without having it just be on the MLS. And in today's world, I get this question all the time. Well, what are you going to do? Just throw it on MLS? Like, no, that's not how you sell houses today. You got to be a little bit more creative, and got to be, it all comes down to, he or she who hustles the most will ultimately get the reward at the end of the day. So.
And I've seen the hustle mentality in action over many years.
Many years, yep. Hustle gets you somewhere.
We go back a long ways, I think.
Do. We do.
See, Danny reminded me of how we actually met each other. I was a cashier at Albertsons.
Yeah,
you come through my line.
Come through the line and be like, hey, what's up, man? You want to go snowboard this weekend? You're like, yeah, sure. This was our junior year in high school, right? I didn't know
senior
you from
year, yeah.
Senior year. I did
Yeah.
not know you from Adam. And
Dude, I was brand new in the area. I had
right.
moved from Dallas.
That's right. And I don't even know. We just
I
started
probably had
chatting.
I had a few friends, but
yeah.
I had nothing going on.
Hey, that was a great snowboarding trip, by the way.
Yeah,
that was a good time. Yeah, that was funny how a long time, 16 years ago, probably. No, more than that, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
pretty wild.
A while ago.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, a little more lively of a topic. So I know you were out there, you gave yourself tendonitis by tilling up the garden and working with the chickens.
Yep.
So talk to us.
Funny story. You want to hear a funny story about the
it.
chickens? Yep. Okay, so last Friday, my daughter's been like, we've been feeling, I've been getting some pressure from my wife, getting our chicken coop all, put back together. My tortoises punched a hole in it because they were greedy and wanted the watermelon that was inside, and then the coyotes got in and killed them all off. This was like 2 years ago. So, with all the uncertainty going on in the world, we're like, all right, never a better time to be, at least have a dozen eggs coming a day than going and getting our chicken coop set up. So last Friday we went to try and get some chickens from the Higley feed. I called them at like 7:30 in the morning. They said they had 20 of them. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to come get them. By the time we got there, 10 minutes later, there was 5 left. And they said that, they get 100 a week on Friday mornings, and they sell out like immediately within like 30 minutes. And so I'm like, all right, well, that's a bummer. And they're like little guys, right? The ones you get from the feed store, little guys. So that same day, I had a client that wanted to go check out a home in Phoenix. I'm like, all right, let's go check it out. Went and looked at it. Pulled up, and I noticed like 1 or 2 chickens just in the driveway. Didn't really pay any attention to it though. So while we were in there, my client made a comment about him, like, I don't know about all these chickens and roosters walking around everywhere. And then I talked to the agent and I said, hey, this is a beautiful home. What's been the negative feedback or any type of feedback? He's like, well, the main concern from every buyer is all the chickens. And I'm like, all right, I got to pay attention to these chickens. So I walked out front. I started looking around. I'm like, dude, there's 200 chickens all over the place, like big, small, little families, roosters, like all over the place. I'm like, I'm going to come back and scoop up some chickens. So Saturday morning, I came back. Well, actually, I made that decision I walked across the street to this lady who was feeding them. And I said, hey, are these your chickens? And she's like, oh, no, these are just city of Phoenix. Like, they just roam all over the streets here. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you think it'd be cool if I came back? I'm in the process of getting chickens for my chicken coop. And she's like, oh, no, that should be fine. No problem. I'm like, all right, cool. So I showed back up the next morning with one of my buddies. We went to Walmart and picked up some fishing nets. And so we go out there, me and my buddy Dan Earl, and my 2 kids, Cole and Polly. We were out there like 8 o'clock in the morning with some chicken feed and some fishing nets. And it was
fishing for chickens.
Fishing for chickens, dude. We scooped up. We got like 5 little babies and a mama and a rooster. So my little 5 babies grew to a full healthy chicken coop that already is laying eggs. And we took the rooster and one of the mama hens, quarantined them into a corner so they'll reproduce and just more chickens. And then we took the others and put them into another area that'll just be egg laying chickens.
So are they literally chickens that are like from the street?
From the street, wild chickens that are now.
So is that causing problems with the chicken coop, the ones you buy at the store, and then you got these wild ones?
No, they cohabitate good together. They really? Take care of each other, and it worked out good. So that was the chickens, and then at the same time on Friday last week, we got all ambitious and we're like, all right, we're gonna go to town on these gardens, which I'm gonna show some real time footage of these gardens, or these little planter boxes which are amazing. The guy I bought the house from had built up these raised planters. We've let them go over the last couple of years, and so we made the decision to dig one of them out. And dude, I spent literally 9 hours on Saturday digging out this, just one scoop at a time, throwing it out, and literally could not move my arm the next day, and it's still giving me grief. On our bike ride this morning, my hand was going numb. Pickleball last night, like I'm pretty sure I gave myself tendonitis from it, but got this thing dialed in. Got all the necessary veggies planted. We still got 3 more planter boxes to go to get it,
So that was just dialed. 1 out of 4?
I was 1 out of 4 that we replaced. What we did is we dug down 2 feet, laid weed like a weed cloth, and then filled it back in with like good primo planting soil. The other ones have soil in there, have dirt in there, but it's just infested with Bermuda grass, and it's such a disaster trying to grow things with that. So we'll see. Probably next fall we'll dig out, 2 of the other ones. I'm gonna let my tendonitis elbow heal up.
Needs to heal back up.
Yeah.
Don't recover so much at.
Yeah. My
you're
old
still
age,
30.
dude.
You're 36, right?
Almost 37.
Yeah,
in a week.
Yeah, you'll be. You're
Turn
close.
37 in a week. Join the 37 club.
Yeah, you'll be in the club too.
Yeah.
So what are you planting in your garden? Out of curiosity.
So we're going with tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, onions, zucchini, watermelon, strawberries. I think that's it for now. That's the first round. And then, we're learning this kind of on the fly. Our neighbor next door is dialed in on it, but, every season, you plant something different. But that's what we just planted right now. And then in the fall, we'll plant whatever else is in season. But our plan is to have that year round. And, again, I'm not a doomsdayist. I'm an optimist at heart. But at the same time, there's some level of comfort just knowing I'm like, worst case scenario, I just hunker down in my house. I got my chickens that'll eat the worms. The worms make the soil good, and I got plenty of seeds to plant, and then all the excess goes into the pot to make more worms. And we got eggs that come out of our chickens, and I got a little area that are raising chickens.
Now you just need to figure out how to get some milk. That's
right. I got a cow coming, dude.
No.
Yes, I got a cow coming. Got a cow coming to graze my pasture on the side. Got it all set up, awesome. And then it'll generate milk, and then also we can slaughter for meat as well. Got my little mini.
All this at your house?
Yeah.
You gonna have a backyard still? It's gonna be like a madhouse.
That's just the side yard. We got a side yard pasture, and then straight out the back we got.
That's what's nice about having acreage, right?
I'm telling you, man, it's nice. Come be my neighbor.
Yeah, maybe.
Sweet.
Sweet, man. Well, if somebody watching this is interested in, or they're uncertain about these times, about buying or selling their home, and they want to pick your brain on it, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can go to our website, perkinson.co, www.perkinson.co, and then you can call me direct on my cell, 480-247-0907, or you can always just DM me on whatever, Messenger or Instagram or whatever. So, yep, that's it.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me on round two. Real Estate Pros. We'll have you on again.
Yep.
More frequently, talking about different topics.
Sounds
now that
good.
we got the studios close to my house.
And my house, dude. I'm telling you, it's
there we go.
Pretty dang close, like 5-minute drive.
Content creation.
Yep.
So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me on Real Estate Pros, and we will see you guys on the next episode.